Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome, everyone. So this is part 2 with Kelly Woodruff. If you were with us last week, if you were not with us last week, the topic is the nature of connection, our need, and how reconnective healing and the reconnection can enhance connection in all parts of our life. This is part 2 of 2. And Blanca says hi from YouTube. So welcome to our YouTube.
Hi to all of our YouTubers out there. Thanks for joining us. We'll give them another minute, 30 seconds. What do you say? See, another second.
Sounds great. Well, yeah, we have a few more people in the waiting room. Good idea.
Good. Excellent. Let those kids in.
Welcome. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Ooh, Lexi, pretty background. Oh, one more in the waiting room.
Excellent.
Yeah. I sent out another quick reminder to let them know. Join us now.
Join us. Come now. Come. You'll miss it. Come. You're gonna miss it.
Starting now. Here they come. Good. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Ooh, more coming in. See, it works.
Exactly. Here they come. Hi, everybody. Greetings.
Hey. So, folks, this is Kelly Woodruff, a Reconnective Yoga instructor and a fabulous person all around. So we are very excited to have him back to join us for part 2 of his wonderful discussion. And it has been a discussion, so please, people, feel free to add anything into the chat. We'll be calling on you if you'd like to share later on as well. And it is the nature of connection, our need, and how reconnective healing and the reconnection can enhance connection in all parts of our life. Part 2 of 2. Here we go.
All righty. Hi, everybody. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome. Hello from New York City. It's actually kind of a gray and starting to try to be fall day outside, but seasons will change. I just want to start, of course, by thanking Cecilia and Anna, our two rocks of these Zoom and YouTube formats. We couldn't do it without them. For those of you who don't know, Cecilia is my co-hostess for our Reconnective Yoga class, which, by the way, starts on October 23rd at 12 o'clock noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific time, and 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever is going on in Europe or wherever throughout the world. We invite all of you to join us, by the way. It is really my baby. I love exploring this marriage of yoga and the reconnective healing frequencies and allowing us to sort of explore deeper with the aid of the frequencies and the science of yoga. So just another little word about it. That yoga class is for everyone, whether you've done yoga, whether you're experienced yogi, or whether you're brand new to yoga. There's definitely something in it for you. We have a lot of fun. We try to keep it interesting, a lot of different locations and backgrounds and all of that good stuff. So if you're interested, Cecilia's going to put the link in the chat. You can click on it and go register later on when we're done. So I also want to do a special shout out to our life leaders today. We have Veronique, Barbara, and Christina. You guys are rocks of Gibraltar. Everybody wave and say hi. It's so good to have you guys here. Thank you. Thank you for leading this, for your love and support. We really appreciate that. So here we are. Nature of Connection, part 2. So I just want to do a quick-ish recap about what we talked about last week, because I think it's important just to remember where we were and how we sort of got to the end of it. So this topic is really about the nature of connection, is really, of course, about our human need for connection. And we started out just talking about how important it is for us in this 4-dimensional expression of the human form in our life, to have connection, starting with early childhood. And we talked about how important it is for infant development to be held and nurtured by their mother, these sort of very early connections. And then we talked about all the way up through how terrible it is for people to be in isolation, and the fact that it's considered now one of the worst forms of imprisonment and torture is to put people into solitary confinement, because it makes all kinds of problems happen, right? We get disconnected from people, and then we become untethered from reality. We have all kinds of mental, physical, emotional illnesses. So obviously there's something about us that is there is something about us that has this very intrinsic need. So we briefly then touched about perhaps the biological wiring that we might have for this, and the fact that we might have evolved this way. In other words, those people in our past, our ancestors who were more inclined to gather together in groups, could thrive more. They could support themselves better, they could protect themselves better, and they just, in essence, they thrived. So very possibly, we could say that we are evolved from a group of people who found safety in community. And so that was the next part of our conversation. And it's important to remember that piece, because we're going to loop back around through all of this in just a little bit. So then we looked at the question, is there something deeper than just our biology that is driving us to have these connections? Now, I see a lot of you smiling here at this point, because I think that we all, I shouldn't assume, I would say that many of us in this group, how's that, probably recognize that there is something more than just this physical, psychological, social needs that have been sort of bred into us. There is something that's very crucial to our health, right? Our physical, mental, emotional health. Something that is really at the very core of our humanity. So this is where I think it sort of got, I don't know, I found this is where for me it started to get really interesting. So we started to talk about the illusion of separation, and how that illusion of separation that we all live in may be the key to this need. In essence, it may be the reason why this illusion of separation obviously is the reason why we feel the need to come together. But also, if we really think about it, this illusion is really key to our very existence. Because if we didn't have the illusion of separation, then this four-dimensional biological, physical expression wouldn't be necessary. There would be no need for it if we didn't have this illusion of separation. So it basically, this separation that was engineered by the divine is really the reason why we exist as we do. I wouldn't be me. I wouldn't have the I and me and you or you if it weren't for this illusion that we're living in. So one of the reasons I wanted to pause there, or I did want to pause there, is to just remind us all. I think sometimes that what happens in the sort of spiritual community is that we have kind of, I don't know, we kind of branded this illusion of separation as I don't know, as something less than, as a bad thing. In other words, people talk about this illusion of separation. Oh, I really want to get through the illusion of separation. Oh, we're all living this terrible illusion of separation. And I know that's not true. I know that you and I are one, and blah, blah, blah. And we have to fight through that. Well, actually, I just want to honor that illusion for just a minute, because if it wasn't for that illusion, I wouldn't be here talking to you, right? If the divine hadn't found the need to separate, or decided to separate, the one become many, then we would all just be one in the mind of God, and we would sort of just be, I don't know, hanging out, and everybody would know everything that everyone was going to say in every moment. And I don't think it would be quite as interesting somehow, right? And I think that that's part of it. I think that part of this whole experience that we're having is so that we can have these experiences that are in essence, based on the illusion of separation. I was watching some Rupert Spiro last night, which I'm going to also loop back to in just a minute. And he was talking about the nature of consciousness. And he was saying that, you know, consciousness just exists. It exists. It doesn't have a need to express. And I thought, well, that's weird, because I always kind of thought that consciousness was the thing, you know, that like the true consciousness was the thing that manifested in physical, in whole cloth. But he explained that actually it doesn't do that. It doesn't need to do that. But what it does do is that it vibrates within itself. And I thought that that was a very interesting phrase for us as reconnective healing practitioners to sort of hold on to, this idea that consciousness is really vibrating within itself. And that's the expression of manifestation is a result of this vibration. So for those of you who have seen me teach the Catalyst program, or when we used to teach level 1, 2, you know that I've talked a lot over the time about how we perceive things in our physical world by the rate of vibration. And that the best example of changing the rate of vibration in nature of how we perceive something is water, because it can be a solid, a liquid, or a gas, simply by changing the rate which the molecules vibrate. In other words, when you add heat to it, it changes from a solid to a liquid to a gas. So I think this concept of vibration and this concept of consciousness vibrating within itself is interesting, and something just to keep in the backs of our mind. So we looked at the illusion of separation, and then we talked a little bit about why that might have come about. And I tried to do my best by this beautiful explanation by Sattvi Bhagwati Sarawatji. It's as pretty as close as I can come. I hope you guys had an opportunity to look at that video that we did put the link in the chat. It's just a beautiful piece about the divine's desire to experience the coming together, the expression of love that is experienced when two are separate, the two separate come to the one. And that at the same time, we never really were separate, that we are all just waves upon the ocean. And I really, again, this is another thing that fell into place to me, because I realized even when I was talking, that I think one of the reasons why, and again, this was a revelation or a clarity that I came to, one of the reasons why reconnected healing is so powerfully positive to our relationships is because reconnected healing lets us touch that experience of the all, of the one. It lets us touch that experience of, of isness, if you will. And in touching that experience, as I said last week, I realized it sort of takes the onus off our one-on-one relationships, because we recognize that we truly are one in the reconnective healing experience. There is something about the reconnective healing frequencies and the reconnective healing experience that allows us to really understand that we are all one, that there is no separation. And even if that understanding or that recognition is on an unconscious level or a very deep level that we can't necessarily bring towards a consciousness or to a full kind of, again, four-dimensional, understanding, there's something about that releases the pressure somewhat on our relationships that allows it to be a little easier, because we're not looking for the other person or the other thing or the other group or the other community or whatever, something outside of us. We're not looking for that to fill that sense of loss, that sense of separation. We're not looking for that when we are engaged in the reconnective healing with the reconnective healing frequencies. And I thought that was, again, for me, that was like kind of where the pay dirt of last week came in that part of the discussion. So just shedding a little bit of light on why the reconnective healing frequencies, when we engage with them, relationships seem to automatically start to balance and become better. And by the way, I also want to just add here, for those of you who might have experienced someone in your life falling away after you became a reconnective healing practitioner, know that that part of the expression, that part of the journey of the relationship, maybe, which is someone going away or not being close to any longer, is also a healing, is also a balance, is also something that is a natural, is a part of the natural flow that should happen. So yeah, so that's kind of what we did last week. You guys had some really good insights and comments afterwards, and I left very relieved, just so you know, because I had been a little, I was quite concerned when we started about exactly where the discussion was going to go. So again, in preparing for this week, I did my work that I always do, doing my research, putting my notes together, and again, getting very far down some YouTube rabbit holes of some different information and all kinds of Googling, all kinds of fun stuff that I was learning about and stuff. And I also, Rupert Spiro was part of that, which, by the way, if you guys have ever seen him or heard him talk, you know that for most of us, it's pretty phenomenal and also really, really dense, and really the concepts are really complicated, and his explanations are beautiful, but they can be quite mind-bending, for lack of a better word. I don't know, they're quite complex. And I was talking to my good friend and colleague, Rob Koenig, last night. We were having a conversation. It was a really wide-ranging conversation about programs and upcoming programs and developing new programs and what was going on and all these dynamics and all of this stuff about reconnective healing, around the reconnective healing experience, and vocabulary changes and staffing changes and all this stuff. You have to remember, I now have 20 years, almost full 20 years of being involved in this work. And so I have seen a lot of iterations. I've seen a lot of coming and going. I've seen us working to try to clarify and project our message and really find ways to communicate about the work that really, that are the best, the most engaging, and the things that will get people as excited as we are, and all of this different stuff. And I was reflecting in my mind about these conversations that we've been having in the RLC, and really sometimes I'm in awe of the level of it's difficult. Sorry, I would say that the density of the topics and the density of the concepts, and it amazes me when we start to talk in these abstract and very philosophical, really, terms in trying to capture our experience. And in my conversation with Rob last night, I was reminded of something that is so important. And it's so important that I just want to take a couple of minutes and sort of step out of our direct topic and come back to exactly where we are right now. I know that sometimes we can get lost in the complexity of concepts, right? And the verbiage to try to capture these very abstract ideas and formations. But I really implore you to always remember Eric's words, that your attention on your experience of the frequencies, and in the healing equation, if you're with a client, the responses of your client, that's all that you need. That's all you need. Your attention on the frequencies, your experience of the frequencies, how that is affecting you, and then simultaneously what's going on for your client on the table. Just your attention, and that's enough. You don't need rituals, you don't need toys, no techniques, no mental gymnastics, no deep explanations, no understanding, just your attention. Healing is just that simple. You are enough. You are love. In that moment of connection with those frequencies with your client, or just with yourself in your experience of the frequencies, you are enough. You are love. You are divine. And I want you to hold on to that. And I'm going to take a little pause here, and I'm going to say goodbye to our YouTubers, as always. Remember that you can continue the conversation by joining us in the RLC, so you can continue listening. And there is a link to subscribe both to my yoga class in the chat and also the RLC link I'm sure Anna has put there. Thank all of you guys who joined us on YouTube. I want you guys to also walk away with that moment of the simplicity and the beauty of reconnective healing, okay? Thank you guys. See you soon. All right. Now for everyone else, let's just go on. I just feel like this is really important because, you know, as much fun as it can be to talk about concepts of consciousness and isness, and you know, the difference between the mental experience and the true deep experience, and all of these things, even talking about the nature of connection, even talking about the illusion of separation, all of these topics, you know, there's not one single thing that has ever made any single one of you guys out there.
Namaste, everyone. Kelly Woodruff here, and I am upside down excited to invite all of you to join us for our fall 2021 Reconnective Yoga series. Now, this series is a 6-week series taught on Zoom Saturdays, 12 noon Eastern. My assistants and I will be there every week to explore the ancient science of yoga and this new language of healing, reconnective healing. So come join us, whether you're an experienced yogi or have never done yoga before. There's something here for you. I promise you're going to enjoy it. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to find some new ways to explore this amazing marriage of these two ways to become mindful and to explore both within and without. So join us Saturdays at 12 noon. Namaste.
Hi, I'm Eric Pearl, and we have launched an online course called The Portal. It's an expansion of our online essentials, our level 1, an 8+ hour e-learning course.
And we decided to add content because our students were asking for more. What is a portal? It's a doorway to transformation.
It includes the 8 hours of the online essentials course,
2 key chapters, one on love and one on healing, and workbooks from our worthiness episode from the series The Inner Compass.
more than 10 hours of content.
The portal helps us discover our roadblocks that may be stopping us from living our fullest potential.
How does the portal help bring about these benefits? Easy to follow short segments with interactive exercises, information acquired not only through the mind, but through interaction with the frequencies themselves. Effortless learning and personal evolution.
It brings the possibility for instant transformation, healing, and the evolution of each and every one of us in our everyday lives.